Hi there, I am Georgia. This is my vertical sleeve gastrectomy weight loss journey. That over there is Rosie and Charlie. Say hi to them. Hi, doggies. Yep. And in today's video, which is video number 27, I am 27 weeks post-op. Today is June 15th. It's a Monday of 2020. And in today's video, I want to go over some things that I found helpful the first 6 months of this journey. And why am I doing this video? I got the inspiration from another YouTuber that I watch. I don't remember her name. I'm really sorry. She's about 3 years post-op, and she's talking about weight gain after weight loss surgery, after she reached her goal, and tools that helped her lose the regain weight and somehow maintain, or when she gains some, what she does to lose or go back to her goal weight. It's obviously only 6 months post-op. I haven't had a cute weight gain. I keep losing. Today I'm 205. I only lost 1 pound this past week, but I kept going up and down the same 2 pounds. It happens. Stalls happen, if it's considered a stall, because technically it did lose a pound, but I keep going down in inches and everything. Sorry, the chair makes noises. So she was talking about the weight gain after weight loss surgery, and that's my number one fear, that I will go to my goal weight and I will gain the weight back, because I've heard many stories of people gaining the weight back, and this surgery has only 60% success rate, which means that there's 40% of us out there that do experience regain. So what I found helpful the first 6 months of surgery to have it under control, because I haven't had any complications. Also has to do with the body and the weight heals, but also I've never thrown up, and I've never really overeaten to the point where I feel uncomfortable for a long time. Maybe I've done it a couple times, but it was with foods like fish or bread did that to me, but I didn't overeat. So I brought stuff for show and tell, so I'll get right to it. First thing, when you're first out of surgery, you can't eat much, and I've shown this before. This is what I used to eat from when I was fresh out of surgery. This fits half a cup, and half of it is a quarter cup. You can't eat more than this, and I found this very helpful. I think if you make broth or soup, or if you can eat yogurt for your liquid phase, I could, but if you can, and you can have broth or soups, these are great containers to store and freeze soup. You cannot eat more than that, so do not overstock on canned soups and broths and things like that. You can only eat this much about 3 to 4 times a day. So don't overdo on the weight loss surgery shopping. Don't overdo. Now I pack lunches and meals in containers like this, which fits about a cup. Obviously, I don't fill it to the top. So if you're out there and you're like, that's too much food. No, buddy. I don't fill it to the top. And this fits about a cup of food, so less. This also fits about a cup of food. And again, I don't fill it to the top. And I can store my lunch or my breakfast if I do. Usually for lunch or for breakfast, I do a protein shake. So I will do the protein shake for breakfast or lunch, or for both. And then I will take one of these containers with food with me to work. If you're not sure, you can always use these. I use this for my baking. I bake a lot, but I don't eat what I bake. But I love to cook. I love to make stuff. I even make soap and beauty products, and I just love making things. So this is a cup. And I had a debate with someone some time ago. So you see, this is a cup. You don't fill food to the rim and level it. But this is how much food Like if you put food in here, that's how much you can have. So the debate I had with someone was like, I had about a cup of salad, and they were like, a cup is 8 ounces. No, a cup of water filled to the rim of this is 8 ounces. If you fill this cup with popcorn, it is 0.2 ounces. If you fill this cup with cabbage, it's like 1 ounce. So you cannot have 4 ounces of popcorn. It's like a freaking bucket. You cannot have 4 ounces of cabbage, because you're like, your stomach doesn't fit that. When we're talking about ounces that you measure on the scale, is very different than ounces that you measure as a cup. Okay, just be clear on that. So things that are useful, definitely measuring cups. And in the beginning, oops, noisy, you eat about a 1/4 cup of like food at a time, and you might eat this like 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, because in the beginning you can't have much, and by the time you have all your liquid and your protein shake, you can't eat whatever you're eating that much. So very important to measure throughout the journey. The whole 6 months I've been measuring things. And talking about measuring, a scale. A scale is very important. This scale has an on-off button, and then it has like a unit button where you can measure grams, fluid ounces, mls, things like that. So when I serve myself, the first thing I do is I will measure and weigh. So if I fill this and it's 6 ounces, I take some off. If I fill this and it's not 4 ounces, I do not add any more, because volume wise I can't fit more than this, and weight wise doesn't always agree with volume wise. Okay, so where do I eat my meal? I will show you what a dinner plate looks like. This is a dinner plate. I used to fill this up and eat it before weight loss surgery. And this is the matching salad plate. Do you think I eat on those things? No, I don't eat in either of them. This is my plate. So it's a slightly smaller than a salad plate. Again, I don't fill this. First, I do this in the scale, and then I put it here. The reason why I put it here is because right now these plates, for me, I have a good visual of what 4 ounces or 1 cup of food looks like in these plates. I'm not ready to move on to eyeballing my food yet, and I don't think I will. But when I go to a restaurant, if I've done this enough times, I have a pretty good idea of how much food I can handle. Then we're moving on to the utensils. This is what a regular spoon looks like. This is the spoon I eat from looks like. It's not as small as a bariatric spoon, so I'm aware of this, and I don't need spoonfuls of this. I use this though instead of this, because I can handle a little bit in this spoon rather than trying to guesstimate how much a little bit is in this spoon. Same with the forks. This is a regular dinner fork. This is a salad fork. I use a salad fork. It's not a bariatric fork, but I can gauge better how much a little bit is on this fork than with this fork. And when it comes to soups, I eat them here, just so you have a good idea, which is a little less than a cup. It's a little less than a cup because it's also curvy, as you can see. I don't fill it to the top. I fill it about 3/4 or 2/3, depending on how dense the soup is. If it's broth, honestly, you can eat a whole cup of broth. If your soup has some veggies and some meat, maybe I'll go 3/4. If your soup is thicker, like a stew consistency, then I will go 2/3. So again, measure and weigh. That has been my friend so far to not overeat and not feel uncomfortable, because overeating, I mean, at this stage, we are very fresh still, 6 months out. Even if you overeat, you're not going to exceed your calorie intake, but it is very uncomfortable. And if you do it often enough, your stomach will expand. Next thing that has been very helpful is this here, which I got off Amazon. It is my friend. Sometimes I forget it and I get upset, because those are the days I don't do well with water intake, and those are the days that I might eat a little more often. Usually I eat 3 times a day and maybe a snack, and one of those 3 times a day is a protein shake. If I don't have this with me and I sip on it throughout the day, I might find myself eating a second snack or another meal, which is not good. This is one mistake I used to do before, and these are mistakes that I'm recognizing after VSG that I used to do before the surgery. Sometimes you're thirsty and you think you're hungry, and if you drink some water, that hunger goes away. So if you're sitting there thinking, why am I hungry? I just ate not too long ago, or like I've already eaten as much as I should have eaten for the day. Why am I feeling like I need something? Drink some water. So this I carry around with me, and right now it is 8 o'clock and I'm already below the 9 p.m. No, okay. I'm at the 9 p.m. mark, which means I've had all this. This is a 73 ounce bottle, and I'm going to finish it before I go to bed. So when I drink my full 73 ounces of water, I don't need to eat more than 3 times a day, and maybe a snack. When I don't, I find that I want more food. Also, this is a good way to get in your water, because we can't drink that much in one sitting. I used to be able to drink half a liter bottle in like seconds. Now, obviously, I can't. So I carry this around with me all freaking day. I have it in the car, and every time I hit a red light, I take a sip. If I'm sitting on my desk and like I take a break from typing or doing something, I take a sip. So I constantly sip like a baby all freaking day, and I can manage to drink this. When you're fresh out of surgery, don't think you can drink 2 liters. No, you're lucky if you can drink a glass of water, but you need to sip. You need to get used to sipping. And yeah, so these are the things that really help me a lot with food intake and measuring and weighing and measuring and weighing. I can't stress enough how important it is to measure and weigh in order to get through this and get yourself used to from the beginning. If you can get yourself used to doing this even before surgery, which I hope that someone would have told me to do this before surgery so I get used to it, or things that you might need after surgery. These are definitely things you might need. Measuring cups, a scale, and a big ass bottle to put your water and carry it around with you, because you might think you'll be able to drink water, or like remind yourself to drink water, or if you have a smaller bottle that you will refill. But it's much better to have a good idea of how much you have to drink in a day and how far you've had so far. And when I do have this with me, it is much better and much more helpful. Another thing I did have before surgery, but I started using it more often now, is an exercise ball. Why is this important? You can work out in the beginning, so don't start using an exercise ball when you're fresh. But now I like using the exercise ball, one, because during COVID, no gyms are open, but I never liked the gym mentality and I never liked gyms. So I do work out at home. The reason why I like the ball is because I find bones in places that I forgot they existed, like my hip area, or my abdomen, or my collarbones and things like that. So doing floor exercises, sometimes it hurts. and also my back hurts, or we're not used to doing workouts and we're not used to doing them correctly, I find the ball helps me more. I don't get back pains. I don't find that I strain myself a lot, and I do concentrate on the core muscles better with the ball. Another thing I want to talk about is clothes. You're gonna find that you're running out of clothes that you can wear pretty soon, but it's not a good idea to go buy a whole new wardrobe every time you change sizes, because you will change sizes very fast. Like I went from a 3XL to a large medium in 6 months. So every time I changed sizes, I didn't go and buy a wardrobe. What it's smart to do, which I also learned from another YouTuber, buy clothes that can shrink with you, or that you can wear them a little bit more fitted as like a 3XL person, and you can wear them as like a loose, nice fit when you're like XL or large. So this shirt, for example, it was very fitted when I first got it. It was like a couple of years ago, and it didn't even fit me. Then when I went down to like a 2XL, it fit snug. When I went down to an XL, it fit okay. And now that I'm like a medium large, it's like a loose fit, which I like, and I can still wear it. So this is a good example of what I'm talking about. Or like dress shirts. So you can get a dress shirt and wear it as a shirt, and then as you start to shrink, wear it as a dress with like a belt. Leggings are dangerous when you're wearing them as your regular clothes, because you can easily stretch into them, but you can also shrink in them. So leggings and stretchy clothes for women, great. For men, I'm sorry, I don't have any advice for you in terms of clothes. I guess button-up shirts might be a good thing for men, and belts, maybe. I'm not a man, so I don't know. So I noticed that leggings that I was wearing when I was 3XL, by the time I'm like here to the large, like a snug large, now I'm like a loose large, they start falling off. So I went and I bought large leggings, which I feel they will fit throughout the summer, hopefully. I also bought 2 pairs of jeggings, size 14, thinking that they will fit me by the middle of the summer, and they fit me now, and soon they're gonna start being loose, and that's ridiculous. But I only got 2 pairs of pants, because I basically had no pants. Everything was falling off, and I got them cheap. I got them from Walmart. I'm not advertising. I hate naming like companies and things like that. So I got them very cheap, knowing that I might not be able to fit in them later in the year. So definitely no new wardrobes, buy cheap clothes, and get clothes that you can shrink in them, that you can possibly put a belt on it, and like, you know, the clothing will shrink with you. So yeah, I hope you found these helpful. I wish I knew some of this stuff before my weight loss journey. I kind of found out as I was going through my journey, and I felt it was a good idea to share them with you in case you're starting now. But even if you are at 6 months and you feel you can eyeball something, don't. I'm not talking from experience, but I feel that's how we fall back into old habits. Keep your little plate and always weigh and measure. And maybe at some point you'll be able to eyeball it, but I feel I don't want to eyeball it. I will only eyeball it if I'm in like a social setting or like a restaurant, and I can bust out my little scale and like my measuring cups. But if you do it every day for like 2-3 meals a day, you will be able to guesstimate. But do not start guesstimating soon. Because I'm in a lot of groups, and I notice that some people are like, I don't understand, I'm doing this and that, weight hasn't come off. Stalls happen, 100%, But with people that are like further along and they're like, oh, I'm starting to gain the weight back, and then people ask them like, what do you do? Is your protein this? Is like this, that? Is like how many calories? Blah, blah, blah. I think the question should be, how many times a day do you eat? And do you measure, weigh, and track your food? Maybe at some point we'll stop tracking the food, but we should always measure and weigh the food, because you need to be aware of how much you're consuming. That's how I feel now, 6 months out. Who knows how I'm going to be in like a year or 2 years out. But definitely measure, weigh, and track. Very important. And don't go out and buy a bunch of clothes when you're scaling down in sizes. I think that's what I had to say for today. Hit the subscribe button. Follow my journey. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Are you thinking of doing VSG? Are you already going through VSG? How far along are you? Are you 5 years out and you think what I'm saying is not correct? Obviously, I'm only 6 months out. So let's have a conversation. Talk to me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.